Ooh, you guys, I'm already getting a lot of hate on my TikTok for this review. What's up, you guys? It's Jonathan Carter, the movie critic that watches bad movies so you don't have to, and today we are talking about Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good is the follow-up continuation of Wicked Part 1 that came out in 2024, and just some information on that. Wicked Part 1 was my top movie of 2024. Like, you can go back and watch my top 10 movies of 2024. Wicked for Good is at number 1. I'm a huge fan of The Wizard of Oz. Like, I just love that classic film and the history and everything, what it did for cinema. I also am a big fan of Wicked, the Broadway show. I saw it the first time on Broadway, front row, which was incredible. And then a second time, a couple years later, off Broadway, and it was just still as good. I really, really do love it. I didn't have the most hype going into Wicked, though, Part 1, solely because I'm not the biggest fan of musicals, like, as movies. I do like them on Broadway, in that kind of environment, but as a movie, like, in that medium, not so much. Fully floored by Wicked Part 1. I absolutely loved that movie. Like, 9 out of 10. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I thought everybody in that movie turned in such an incredible performance, and the set design and the choreography, like, all of that stuff was just amazing. So I did have a lot of hype for Wicked for Good as this continuation end of this Wicked journey. Even though, like, the back half of Wicked, the musical, is not as strong as the first half, I was still pretty hyped for it. All that being said, before we do get into this review, let me know your thoughts on Wicked for Good in the comments. Were you a big fan of it? Please be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, all that for shorter versions of reviews, and on Spotify for podcast versions of this kind of review. And all that being said, without further ado, let's get into the review.
You can wave that wand all you want, but you have no real power.
And before we start this off, thank you, AMC. I went to an early screening and I did get this little, like, Dolby Wicked snow globe thing. This thing is pretty dope. I'm putting it right here. So, for better and for worse, Wicked for Good is a mixed bag of a film, you guys, that is more bad than good. Wicked for Good picks up an unclear amount of time after Part 1 and continues again the story of the musical of Part 1. Elphaba on her journey of being, the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glinda being the Good Witch, and even though not everything is obviously as it seems behind the scene and the scenes, and the people of Oz are obviously masked, they don't know the actual reality of the situation. In all honesty, what is so wrong or mixed about Wicked for Good is that the magic of adapting the Broadway show and then paying homage to the classic Wizard of Oz, like one of the best movies of all time in the history of cinema, or I should say, like, one of the most influential movies of all time in cinema. In Wicked Part 1, all of the magic that is there is mostly absent in For Good. So yes, Wicked for Good is obviously, like, the back part of it is more of a downer than Part 1, but all of that, like I said, the magic of setting up these characters in the first movie and like watching where their journey is gonna go seems to be far more interesting than actually watching where their journey ends in Part 2. The characters in both movies are Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh. Like, they all turned in fantastic performances here. I'm not a big fan of Ariana Grande. Sorry, I think she's a homewrecker. Like, she is a phenomenal singer. Like, her voice is incredible, and there were so many powerful moments in Part 1 with the music, the cinematography, the acting, and just the larger than life scenes and set pieces that is just completely gone in Act 2. There's not one memorable singing moment in Act 2 that even can slightly compare to Part 1. And where Wicked Part 1 soared in, like, this Oz universe of all these different films and lore, Wicked for Good struggles under the weight of that lore. By that I mean it forcefully moves characters like they're chess pieces into places they need to be just so it can connect to the events of the Wizard of Oz. And so in part one, where you get this natural, organic progression of characters, like our main cast here, part two, Wicked for Good, is completely different, and all of a sudden everything just feels contrived. And even though this movie is nearly 3 hours long, the pacing is so weird where there's just moments of absolutely nothing happening, and then just breakneck speed of just going through all of these other events so we can get to where people need to be in order for the Wizard of Oz to take place. And if you've seen the movie, I think you know what I mean. If you haven't, it's kind of hard to explain, but it is just the most oddly paced film, and also one that just feels so forced and contrived and like buckling under its own like universe and the weight of having to piece everything together. It just, none of it feels natural. There also, in that, there's a lot of tonal whiplash in Wicked for Good, where big moments happen that are, again, because this one is much more intense and heavy than part one, big moments will happen that are dramatic, that weigh on the characters, and then like 2 seconds later, it's like a corny, you know, they're making jokes or they're sparring at each other, and it's like, this really tragic event just happened, and then you turn around not even 2 minutes later and you're just like, it like didn't even happen. There's so much acting that is all over the place in this movie. I don't know if it's the script or how they directed the actors, but like Michelle Yeoh was fantastic in the first movie. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And she is an Oscar winner, if I'm not mistaken, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's fantastic. Her acting is so weird in this movie. Like, it feels like, and she's not the only one. It just feels like people are acting on green screens, like without each other, and they don't really even know what exactly is going on. And Ethan Slater are like the biggest two offenders of that. Like, it just, their acting was just completely off compared to where they were in part one. So it is rather unfortunate. Like, there are positives here in this movie. Again, like, you get to explore the world of Oz, the Wizard of Oz, Wicked, and everything once again. And so just being in this world is always like enjoyable, just because of the magic of it, how it looks, the sheer size of the world. It can be very, very fascinating. But Wicked for Good truly just, it cannot hold the weight. It buckles under the weight of its own lore. It feels like it didn't know what to do with its characters to naturally get them into where they need to be by the end of this movie, just to connect to the Wizard of Oz. So, wrapping this up with the verdict, everything that was magical and fantastic about part one is doled out here in Wicked for Good. Magical set pieces, the amazing dance choreography, the amazing singing, acting, larger than life magic of Wicked. Most of them are notably absent in Wicked for Good, and that is just such a shame. Even though Wicked for Good is supposed to be the darker part of the series, or of the movies, it still doesn't play that type of story well at all. None of it feels organic. So much of it feels contrived, and there are just some really weird tonal issues in this movie. So it's not outright bad, it's just not nearly as good as part one, which is just really saddening to say, because I really enjoyed and was pleasantly surprised with Wicked part one. Honestly, after this, I probably won't even think about Wicked for Good after making this review. All that being said, I'm gonna give Wicked for Good a 5.5 out of 10, and on a see it, stream it, or skip it, I'm somewhere between a stream it and a skip it, honestly. If you're a big Wicked fan, you're obviously going to see it. With that being said, if you are a big Wicked fan, let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comments. Like, I want to hear what you guys think about this movie. If you didn't enjoy it, also put that down below. Try to keep the conversation civil, you guys. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out my review for Wicked Part 1 right here a year ago. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys on the next one.